Hi there, it's Adrian Prendergast, Analyst at Morgans Financial here at the 2019 Noosa Mining and Exploration Conference. We're joined at the moment by Leon Devaney, who's from Central Petroleum. Leon, you've been at Central since 2012.
Yep.
In the last 12 months, moving into the acting and then permanent CEO role. Can you just walk us through, obviously everyone's heard a lot about how strong the East Coast gas thematic's been,
Sure.
How attractive the investment profile is, just how Central are positioned and what you're doing to really get exposure to that.
Yeah, so certainly the East Coast gas market's been critically short. We saw that coming really in the lead up post the LNG plants coming online. And one of the strategies Central has had is to try and develop the Northern Territory, create a situation where you had gas reserves, low cost production, and be a solution to that East Coast gas shortage. The price signals out of the East Coast are very strong, and there's been a lot of analysis and reviews on that.
Yep.
We're certainly seeing that in terms of our marketing out into the East Coast, and our ex-fuel pricing is strong and very encouraging.
And so, as you mentioned, you've got some production assets. Can you just talk us through the scale and how long they've been online and the outlook?
So, two of the assets, Palm Valley and Marini, have been on for decades. They're old fields. They've been working very hard. It's in a constrained market, so they haven't been producing as much as they possibly could.
Yeah.
So we acquired those on the hopes that we could get connection to the East Coast. The other field is Dingo, and that's a new field that is supplying directly to a power station. It's not connected to the wider market, although it could be someday. The collection of those is probably in the order currently of about 35, 37 TJs a day of gas.
Yep.
And then we have some oil production out of Marini as well.
So that's obviously giving you a big earnings platform.
Yeah. So as soon as the NGP, the Northern Gas Pipeline, opened,
Yep.
Our sales, which were constrained by the Northern Territory market, essentially tripled. And so from 3rd of January, when it commenced, the NGP, we had a real significant boost in sales, and that's obviously flown through to our financials. And if you look at our March quarter and our upcoming June quarter, you'll see that significant uplift.
So 2 quarters of good earnings growth, as you're saying. Where are you going to start to channel some of that capital? What are your priorities for the next 12 months?
So for this calendar year, we've been really focused on debt reduction. We took on some debt to complete our gas acceleration project. And over the past 6 months, we've paid down $12 million in debt, and we've got our net gearing down below 40%, which is really, for us, a really good outcome. Over the next 6 months, we're going to pay off another $10 million and bring that net gearing down even further. So that's the focus over this calendar year. After that, it's really going to be about growth activities and maintaining plateaus at the field and increasing production.
Yeah, and I've noticed even with that deleveraging focus, you're still starting to tackle and build on the growth options that you can leverage off your existing production.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and can you just talk us through, so I guess the closest or most tangible avenues for growth around your existing production?
Yep.
And then talk us through the coal seam gas exposure that you've recently added as well.
Sure. So there's really sort of 3 buckets. We've got operating permits, and there are near field opportunities to increase reserves, and those obviously benefit from brownfield economics. So if we can increase those reserves, the infrastructure's there, it's very low cost marginal production. So it's something we're obviously focused on, and we're working towards. Stairway appraisal, classic example of that, and there's others. The next basket is really our portfolio of exploration acreage. And that's something that we're going to be working on, and we are working on at the moment to really increase our knowledge of it, update that portfolio review, and bring more information and analysis to it so that we can have a really good strategic plan on how we want to go forward with that exploration portfolio we have. And then there's a third, which is business development, and that's really about acquiring new permits, farm-ins, really get a foot on other areas that we think could be value accretive to Central. ATB 2031 is a classic example of that.
Yeah.
We went into the permit gazettal process. We won that permit. We've actually started drilling much quicker than anyone had anticipated. We've got 2 wells drilled. Results are coming through. So very exciting. And those are the kind of things that we want to look at. Obviously, they need to be value accretive. What we don't want to do is just put our foot on things, get exposure to stuff, just for the sake of building a portfolio and
Yeah.
saying, look at what we have.
Yeah.
We want the best assets, and
Yeah.
we want to create value.
And that drilling, that, as you say, that's on the coal seam gas asset.
That's on the coal seam gas asset in Queensland. That's
Yeah.
correct.
And so your partner there is Incitec Pivot.
Correct.
Can you just talk us through the strategy of partnering with someone like Incitec Pivot? Like,
Yep.
how does that add further value to Central?
Yep. So Central, when it was going to apply for that permit, did not have the cash flows it has today.
Yeah.
And one of the key blocks that you need to have if you're going to be successful in bidding for a permit is the ability to fund that exploration program.
Yeah.
That's where Incitec Pivot came in. Incitec Pivot, on the other hand, didn't have operational experience, didn't have the exploration experience. So the ability to actually progress this from a block into actually a producing asset is something Central could bring to the table.
Yeah.
So it made sense for the both parties to work together, and combined, we actually had a really good bid, and obviously won the permit.
Yeah.
And the relationship with Incitec goes back quite far. Myself and when I was at QGC, Incitec Pivot was a foundation customer. It was a great relationship. They got us off the ground, and as everyone knows, QGC ended up selling to BG, and that went into the LNG project space.
Yeah, certainly from our perspective, they've always been a supportive partner for industry. So
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great
Absolutely.
move.
Yep.
And I know you haven't drilled down to the formation just yet, but you can't escape without us asking about the Dukas prospect. That,
Yep. No, I knew that coming.
yeah,
I knew that coming
the
here
Australia
today.
Santos. Why is everyone so excited about it?
Look, the Dukas prospect is a game changer. I mean, obviously, it's going to completely rewrite Central Petroleum's history if it is successful. It's a huge prospect, multi-TCF. We're going to have 30% of it. So if it's 1 or 2 TCFs, we're going to have 300, 600 petajoules of gas. Now, we're currently at 150 petajoules.
Yeah.
That is a game changer. And if you get that size of development, you're going to be looking at a pipeline straight to Moomba. That's going to lower transport costs. It's going to help feed the East Coast domestic market a lot easier. It is a game changer. Not to mention, there's other lookalike prospects. So it could ultimately become a massive gas province in Central Australia.
Yeah.
It's a wildcat well, so there is risk.
Yep.
But if it is successful, it could be huge, and that's why everyone's excited about it.
Yes, yep. And so how would, if in a success case, we're optimists, so we have to look at the potential success case, what would then happen to your existing operations in the Amadeus Basin? Would that be affected by a pipeline to Moomba as well, or am I getting greedy?
Yeah, no, it's our current contracts out of the portfolio we have, most of that is not committed to the NGP for a long period of time.
Yep.
So by the time we develop and a pipeline's built to Moomba, those reserves and that production from our existing operating assets can ultimately be transferred down into a Moomba pipeline.
Fantastic. Yep. Well, it's very rare to see a building sizable producer with genuine greenfield exploration growth and a number of brownfield options as well. So commend you on the job you're doing there at Central.
Great. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we're certainly happy with our ad recommendation on the stock and happy to see it get that traction with its earnings profile.
Excellent.
So, thanks,
appreciate
Liam.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.